serious developments from the Middle East, and as far as the situation in the Middle East is concerned, we're now in fact learning that the White House is informed that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has apologized to Qatar and has promised that there will be no further strikes on its territory. The apology came during a phone call where Netanyahu in fact tendered and expressed regret over the strikes that had taken place in Doha. Now, according to US officials, Qatar, Israel and the United States will now form a trilateral group in order to resolve what are being called mutual grievances. Netanyahu has told the Prime Minister of Qatar that Israel was targeting Hamas and that he regrets the violation of Qatari sovereignty. The Israeli Prime Minister's office confirmed that Netanyahu has welcomed Trump's proposal to create this forum, which is aimed at easing tensions. Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Mohammed Osman. Sir, how do you, in your assessment, how do you see this trilateral mechanism working out, and what are some of the key areas, the mutual grievances that have been, quoted in the White House readout that could perhaps be addressed by this mechanism?
I think that President Trump understands fully that the success of his peace plan moving forward in Gaza requires a restoration of trust between Qatar and Israel, Qatar being the handler of Hamas, basically, and they have been accorded with this mission to handle Hamas a very long time ago by the United States and Israel. So when Israel bombed the negotiating or targeted the negotiating team, Hamas negotiating team and leaders in Doha, it complicated things, and it definitely adversely affected the bridges of trust between Tel Aviv and Doha. So now it's up to the Americans to restore the confidence and mend ties between both countries. I think that they are on the right track in order to restore their relationship. Apparently, the Qataris were demanding an apology. They got their apology yesterday when Prime Minister Netanyahu was basically forced by President Trump to make a call to the Qatari Prime Minister, Mohammed Al Thani, and present him with an apology so that they can move on with the regular business. And we should never forget, Pia, that Hamas governed Gaza with a very tacit Israeli consent. And Qatar bankrolled Hamas's government in Gaza through Israel. And Israel was very content. Netanyahu was very content with this arrangement because it deepened Palestinian divisions and evaporated any serious chances for resuming the peace settlement and the implementation of the two-state solution because of the internal Palestinian division. So Hamas basically did fit the Israeli plan for basically complete domination and the implementation of the so-called one-state solution. Only the Jewish state should exist, and there shouldn't be a Palestinian state. So, of course, this all came down on Netanyahu's head when the 7th of October happened, because he basically bred this monster in the Gaza Strip, fed it for years, and then it exploded in his face, and he had to bear the consequences at the end of the day. And Qatar was an instrumental part of this equation. So now for any new arrangement for a peace plan in Gaza, and especially with the disengagement of Hamas or the eventual disarmament of Hamas and exit from the Gaza Strip, it will require a central role for the mediators, Egypt and Qatar, and especially Qatar, who will play a prominent role in that. That, of course, if Hamas accepts the deal.
All right, sir. With that, I would like to thank you for joining us.